So this week I wanted to talk about modifying Quake 2. For those of you who don't know, Quake 2 is a PC game that was released by id Software in roughly around 1997, and when I was in high school and college I got really heavy into modifying that game. Now the subject of modifying Quake 2 is kind of a broad subject, something I really don't want to cover in just one video, so I'm going to cover it in 7. Yes! 7! You get to hear about Quake 2 for 7 episodes in a row. Woohoo! I got a lot of positive feedback about my Cake and E3 videos, so I figured I'd try something like that on this video. What to cook? Hey, how about scrambled eggs? Alright, so this is Quake 2. This is the first big violent video game I ever really got into. I mean, before this, I think I was playing some silly NES game or whatever that had nowhere near this kind of violence and destruction. Now, I keep mentioning things about modding. This is just vanilla Quake 2. This is totally unmodded. Yeah, it's all about big guns, big explosions, lots of blood, and BFT! And after playing for a while, you start to see modifications released by the community. If you really look at the folder structure of Quake 2 itself, there's really not much to it. Here's the folder structure. It's just a bunch of programming modules, sound, maps, models, and texture folders, and you just go right in there and change it. And by messing around with that stuff, you can boost these kind of things. What you're seeing right here is Rail Arena. It features a grappling hook that allows you to move around the arena very fast-paced action. And after playing this, I really wasn't satisfied with just playing it. I wanted to make this for myself. I really wanted to get into modifying it for myself. And it's the modifying aspect I really got into. That was really something that dominated much of what I did in high school and in college. And sadly, when I get an idea about a modification in the middle of an oceanography class, guess what? I'm not learning oceanography. I'm coming up with Quake 2 modification ideas. Start with 3 eggs, or scrambled eggs, at least the way I make them. I'll show you. First thing I do is I set the stovetop to medium. The way I cook them is I cook them off the heat, on the heat. It's something a lot of you may know from Gordon Ramsay. That's actually I got it proper. Back in the day, I would just sit here and burn eggs all day. So what I do is I usually start with just adding a little bit of butter, about that much, throw it in, and then you start stirring. And the big thing about this one is you are constantly stirring. Get that going and let's put it on the heat. What I do is I just stir constantly, make sure I get enough heat in here. I'd say maybe like 20 to 30 seconds maybe. It's just enough to add some kind of heat to the pan itself. And then you take it off the heat again. Again, stirring constantly. Stir, 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 stir. Really the stirring part that takes up the most of this, really. Just to give you an idea what kind of things that you can do with these mods. What I'm showcasing here is the Gunslinger mod, the Chaos mod, and the Supers mod that add all sorts of really varied aspects to the game. You can add various Western-style weaponry like Molotovs, rifles, even cannons. Chaos adds crossbows, air cannons, little bouncing, giggly bombs. I mean, there's really no real limit, well, other than the game engine, KES itself, that determines what you can actually produce with these modifications. It's really when you see the broad selection of mods and how varied they are that you realize how wide the canvas is. When you factor in not having to make the game from scratch and how inviting id Software made the game for modders, you immediately want to jump in and start changing it up. So a buddy of mine from high school got me into Quake 2 modifications back in the day, and really started very simple. It went with downloading various models like Homer Simpson and Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII or whatever, and just changing the skins on them, you know, make them look grotesque or whatever, and adding really goofy sound effects from like whatever, The Simpsons or whatever we can come up with. A lot of times we just make our own sound effects. And from that it went to modifying the environments, the maps, things like that, and then the textures, other sound effects, and eventually we got into the programming of it. Now what you're looking for in the eggs is you're looking for some kind of thickness. I really try to get it to pull just a little bit when it's on the medium heat. And when it gets to that point, you pull it off, stir it for a while, and the pan itself is going to retain a lot of the heat, so it's going to keep it going. And just after a little bit, then you just put it right back on the heat and keep it going. And what you're trying to do is get rid of the runny texture. Yeah, there is a lot of concepts to Quake 2, but it is going to take quite a few videos. I'm thinking another 6 or so. I figure on the 7th video I'll actually make a whole mod just so y'all can see what's going on. But hey, This is consistency, see it's all chunky and whatnot. What we're going to do is add some sour cream. I know, adding sour cream to eggs, oh, blasphemy! But yeah, it does taste very good, and what it does is it cools down the eggs and adds a little creamy, fluffy texture to it. You're just doing a heaping spoonful of that. Hopefully about that much, right there. I don't have any fresh chives, so we're just going to add some freeze-dried chives, but it tastes all the same to me. I'm sure I will live, but I will be crying inside. I like a little bit of pepper, so I'm going to add some of that. Stir, 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 stir. Oh, got toast! And that's it. We have our eggs. And that's it. Isn't that yummy? But you can't have any.
So yeah, this is one of the mods that myself and a group of my buddies from school produce. It's really hard to describe every little bit of what's going on here, but it does represent a lot of what we found to be extremely entertaining at the time. Yes, I did throw a chicken over that ledge. Yeah, a lot of that's going on in this video. It would take me a little too long to explain some of it, but it is all good fun. It's this sort of thing that I want to share with you over the next few episodes. There is much I've learned through my years of messing with this game, and it broadened what I can do with games and media in general today. Quake 2 definitely isn't cutting edge, but the idea of forming a concept and making it happen through modifications is definitely applicable for the future.
Thanks for watching this week. I know it's just an intro, but we'll get into some real work next week. Next week I figure we're going to cover sound effects. Lots of good stuff, waveforms and stuff. Because everyone loves a good sound effect.
Well,
if you like, feel free to subscribe, like, and follow me on Twitter at RamblingJer, and I will see you next week. Okay, you can have some too.